Is it going?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Good morning, guys. My name's David Bedard. Hi. Sorry, this is my morning clothes. So I'm going to go over how to de-sprue and build my plow kit, and hopefully it won't be too boring. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to de-sprue everything that's on a sprue, and then we will install magnets, which you won't have to do, but if you have to get replacement wings, you're going to have to do it. And then we will assemble the kit in its entirety, and hopefully this will interest you in purchasing one or help you build one. So Western Plow. So let's get started. So I'm going to move this stuff out of the way we don't need. So this. Okay, so we're going to de-sprue this. So let's start with the cab. The cab I print upside down, and my lovely wife is behind the camera. Say hello, Sammy.
Hello.
These are a pair of knockoff Xuron sprue nippers. I got them free with my printer. Printer I'm using is an Elegoo Mars. It's a small form factor SLA printer. The details are quite nice, and I like it so much I bought a second one. With permission from the wife, of course.
Of course.
So I was able to snip off. So this part here is garbage. You can put it in a gondola, I guess, for a scrap load, but for us it's garbage. They got a nail file, 100 grit and 240 grit. Using the 240 grit side, we're just gonna knock off the nubbies left from the sprue. Now if you need to focus, love, you just say, I need to focus, and then stop it.
We're doing good.
Okay, so that's de-sprued. Next we'll look at its lid. So on the back we got these supports. You clip off the big supports on the back first. Okay? And then you can either clip off the front supports. I recommend you clip them off. Or you can do a bend. And then just true up the edge. All right. You'll notice all the holes are there for your 1/8 thou wire for the roof. Okay. Now there is a front and a back to the cupola, and there is a front and the back to the roof. Now on the roof there is a little hole on one side, and that's the back. Now on the cupola, the front has holes for the windshield wipers and the various grills. So you want to put the roof on. It's a snug fit, and that's okay. Back to the back, and the cupola is finished. Moving on. All right, let's de-sprue. This is the rear roof. The rear roof comes in two parts. And that was necessary to eliminate the print lines, right? So to de-sprue it, we're going to cut off the back supports first. Right? They did most of the heavy lifting when this thing was being printed. Sorry, I have to actually see what I'm doing, so you won't get this on camera. And then the other side. Actually, let's process this side first. So you got all the back ones undone. You notice it's come loose, and then you just push it over. And if you want, you can file down where the grabs were. Let's do the second one. This should be easier to see. So you nip off the backs. Oops. On the front, you push it. Just let it do its thing. True up the edge. I'm using the 240 grit side, and then to assemble this, you got nubs and you have holes. So I actually have to do this off the paper. So you gonna line it up very carefully, push it together. And then take it apart. And what you'll find is the more you do this, the closer it'll get together. It's gonna call me a liar, isn't it? Looks like I got one hole that has stuff in it that's keeping it from. So you come across a situation where it's not going to go in by itself. Very gently. Or the ultimate solution. Nip off the offending nub. There it is. So that's the rear roof assembled. Put it back on the paper. You really don't have to glue it together, but you can. Just use a glue seam on the back. So, back roof's assembled. All right. Now this is something else you won't have to deal with are the wings, unless of course you need replacement wings. So I'm going to desprue it by cutting off the rear supports, and then. All right, true up the bottom. And true up the bottom. All right, now one of these has a warp in it, this guy. Can you see that warp, love?
It's slight, but yes.
See, it's just a little bit of a warp here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fix that, and I'll show you how to do that. This requires a hair dryer. I have no hair, but I'll borrow the wife's. It's gonna get a bit loud, but I'm gonna heat up both sides until my fingers hurt. Stay in frame. And then we're just gonna hold it flat up against the table until it trues itself. Now let's talk about glues. I prefer CA cement when working with these kits, and if you do spill some CA where you don't need it, you can use acetone to remove the unwanted glue. This is also in cleaning the print coming out of the printer. The step goes isopropyl alcohol 100%, and then I use a mean green cleaner to remove the isopropyl alcohol. So you can use IPA to clean this model as well. But before you paint it, I do suggest I use Dawn. Use Dawn to clean off the model where you're going to have, you want really good paint adhesion. So acetone, okay, IPA, okay, and of course Dawn is okay. So we've effectively straightened it out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's straightened out. Okay.
We have put a scrap piece in acetone for 24 hours and it did nothing to the piece.
Okay. Now we're going to go with the difficult little fiddly guys. These are the cylinders for underneath. Honestly, these extra bits, extra detail bits, the clevis and whatnot, they're never going to print well. So I'm just going to cut them off at this point. And when I do my build, I'm going to replace it with brass. So it was silly of me to think that that could be printed, but there we are. So I'm just taking off the excess with a knife here. Okay, it's one. Quite silly of me. Yeah, this is I guess a clevis or lever. It hooks up to some chain that pulls the wing back in. If you can get them off with that detail part, great. If not, I just recommend you just cut them off because it's just more trouble than it's worth, really. And then snap it off. You getting my nice clean shirt in there? Okay. These are the main cylinders. You've got two sets of nubs. The nubs that are closer to the front, that goes towards the outside of your plow. One, there's two. I'm just going to cut off. And these are ambidextrous. They both go on either side. Cleaning up the back where you'll never see it, because this part of it goes on the sill of the model. Okay, I've given you 3 bed rail coupler boxes because you never know. If you over tighten them, they'll break. So you got 3 chances to get it right. And that's why you get 3 of them. I just broke that one. Okay, try this one. It is thin, thin, thin. I wanted to keep that coupler box as scaled as possible. All right, and last but not least, we got to deal with the smokestacks. Now, wish me luck. Now, find if you start at the top, very gingerly work your way down. I'm actually shaking because these are difficult. These are so tiny. You're gonna get a little bit of flash on the top. That's the early smokestack. And then the newer one. Let's see if I can do this without killing it. Sorry. I'm not doing the camera justice here. Okay, now we got to get off the bottom part. There it is. Came off. Here's the H style. I call it the H style. I don't know what you would official name for this is. It's quite nice. It got all the see-through bits and good stuff. Okay, so everything is de-sprued, and I made a terrible mess on my wife's lovely table. So now I'm gonna install magnets. Now the magnets you won't have to do, but on the back of the plow face there are 6 holes, and then we're going to put magnets in those holes. Suppose before I do that I should just make sure this is nice and square. So take some thick CA. You should use thick CA when building this. I'm going to take thick CA, put it in the hole, take a magnet, the hole, make sure it's straight. Next one, CA. You actually get this on camera?
Sort of.
Sort of? Put a magnet in the hole, shear it off, make sure it's straight. Seat it down all the way.
Should we mention the polar thing?
No,
They've got to be the same polar.
no, they don't. Not yet. Well, it doesn't matter because when you start putting the wing on, it doesn't matter. So here we got 3 magnets installed. Let's try on the other side. It's really tough. Just one. So using magnets allows me to make the hinge a prototypical size. And you get a good reliable hinge without it. If you over force it, the wing will just pop off, which is fine. There we go. So we have all the magnets installed on the plow. I just like to rub over with some more File. All right, now we got to do the wings. So the wings is nothing more than taking off one magnet, letting it fall in place on the model, taking a little bit of dab of CA, putting it on the end of the magnet, and then lining it up with the hole on the wing and shutting it off. So we got the top one in the wing. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Hello. I'm a wing. I got one magnet.
And you do have to lift up, otherwise you break the hinges.
Yeah, so when I pull the wing away from the body, I'm pulling towards me. Not, I'm pulling this way, not this way, because you'll break the hinges. Do it the other way. Lovely. Got a warp in this hinge. You see that warp? In the wing.
Yeah. Could you do the hairdryer trick?
Yeah, I'll do it right now. Fingers hurt. I'll just press it down. Let it take its new shape. You get my hand in frame? Hello. There.
Nice.
Okay. So far we got two magnets. Let's do the middle one. So I do top, bottom, middle. It's just the way I do it. Bring this back. Come on. There. All right, that's one side. There we go. Get a good Catholic amount of glue on there. Pull it off. Top. Bottom. This one also has a warp in it, which is typical for resin. Again, you just heat it up. I'm not going to do that here. It's, you get the gist, and the middle. Line it up. There. All right. So the wings are done. There's something you didn't have to do. To install the body, you know, we insert it into the back of the plow, gently push it in the holes into the nubs, and the nubs into the holes. Don't force it in. If it doesn't fit, wiggle it. Gotta wiggle it. Wiggling is important. The next step is we're going to talk about the floor and how to install the details on the floor. The first step is to install a truck in the back, but to do that we're going to first tap in a 256 screw. I didn't supply these. They're 256, that's what the holes are made for. So you just have the screw come all the way through. And do the same with the coupler box hole. fine. We're just pre-tapping this. And the same with the front bolster. Let it tap all the way in. I think this one's thicker. There it is. Okay. Alright, so we're going to install a truck. Now I use Proto 2000 Bettendorfs because the distance between this face and this face is the smallest I can find. The KD trucks, I think, have the same, but if you use other brands, they're wider, like Atlas will be a wider and whatnot. So it's important for later on in the build, when you start adding the stirrup steps by the rear truck, you don't want them to interfere with each other. So I'm going to loosely put in the rear truck. Why do we do this? Because we need to set these cylinders. And what you do is you rotate the truck, you put the cylinder in there, figure that'll be enough. Just check the swing, maybe just a little bit more. You come to the top side and get the glue on there. Glue it. Can you get this? Can you see that? Or it's a little bit of a tongue out the mouth trick.
I'm trying to follow as best I can.
Sorry. You can just adjust it. There. There's one. Then you put his mate going the other way. At this point, we could probably just glue the bottom. There we are. So that's the main cylinders installed. Okay. The little ones are keyed. They only fit one way. There we go. There's one. There's the other. And like before, a little bit of glue on top. Hold them in place. Now if you want to change them out or do whatever you need to do, acetone will remove that joint. Okay, so that's the underbody. Not so hard. I'm going to take off this truck and we're going to replace it with a coupler. So the coupler is made for a number 5 shank, and it fits exactly. I guess I should do it the right way. It fits exactly number 5 shank. This is a standard length shank, not a short or whatever. It's not a long shank, not a short shank. It's the standard length, whatever that is. You can use number 5. You can use. I've seen these with shelf couplers. Just going to screw this on. Not all the way, just because we're going to have to mount this. All right. Now, I'm going to mount this. You got nubbies, you got holes. I'm going to mount this in the bottom here. And the way you know it's seated properly is when the the top of the floor hits the bottom of the holes. Come on, get on there. Don't make a liar out of me. I'll loosen this up for a sec. Give some working room. Takes a little bit of fiddling. And I think we're there. There, so everything lines up. You can tell because the floor is there. You can take a little bit of glue. Just a little bit of glue. Where's my glue? That's a lot of glue. Take a little bit of glue and we're going to put it on this joint. In this few spots, it doesn't take much to hold things in place. Okay, so the floor is installed. Now I'm going to tighten up the coupler until he comes home. Don't over tighten it. Okay, we're going to install the rear truck. We're almost done, guys. Okay, and install the front truck, same truck. I didn't have to shave down the journal boxes. I think the Walthers plows, they shaved down the journal boxes. That's a bit tricky. And back it off just a smidge. Okay, it's on its feet. All right. Now comes the fun part. Cupola and roof. All right, so one thing I want to talk about is this edge and this edge. Okay, clean off that. All right. Those edges fit into a slot here. Can you see that slot? Mm-hmm. And here. And it fits in going that edge first on an angle, just a hair of an angle, and then it pops into place. Do not remove the roof straight up because now you'll break off what's in there. So you kind of have to back and forth. Okay? And the cupola fits in like it so. Snug up the back of the roof. And we're missing something. This is something really important. One wing, two wings. And of course, depending on your prototype, you either have the H-style smokestack or the early style smokestack. So that concludes the build. Now, in terms of paint and decal, I use Tamiya's primer for this unit. Before you do that, I suggest sanding a few places. I would sand the top of the cupola roof. I would also sand the face of the plow. Right? Now, if you wanted to have this hatch open, you can actually sand that hatch off, and there's a hole there, so you can string your airline in the front. The front coupler box is made for a standard shank number 5. You cut it off at about, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch, or 30, yeah, about 1/16 of an inch, and you file the sides away, you insert it, and there's a hole where you can either just glue the coupler in or you can pin it in with a piece of PB wire. For decals, you have choices, but I use Highball Graphics F322, and it does your script, your block, and your CPU rail. So I think that covers pretty much everything. Thank you for watching. And if you have any problems or you're interested in purchasing a plow, you know, send me a PM and we'll get things rolling. So again, we CPU rail guys now have ourselves an accurate Western CPR plow. All right, thank you very much and have yourself a great day.